Shields up, Iron Breakers. Rurikhan here coming at you with another reaction video. And as you guys are no doubt aware, the embargo for Endwalker lifted earlier this week. I'm super pumped about 14, as I've been saying whenever people ask me about 14. November is taken. I'm going to be streaming the whole thing over on the main channel. I don't care if there's like 5 people watching and it tanks the algorithm into the friggin' dirt. We are streaming the entirety of the MSQ on the main channel. It is what it is. Anyway, let's check out Zepla's first impressions of the Endwalker Media Tour. There's going to be a link to the original video in the description in case you want to watch it without actually watching me blab over it. But let's get it started and see what Zepla thinks about things.
Hey buns of the future, I am recording from the past. Well, I'm always recording from the past, but today for me is September 29th and I just experienced the media tour yesterday and I just had to record my first impressions video. I really have so much to say. I want to talk about it.
Got to record it while it's fresh.
Raw first initial impressions. Now, this is not intended to be a comprehensive review of changes, and all that stuff will come later, or we'll probably release around the same time as this video. Basically, it was a remote deal. It wasn't, we didn't go anywhere because of COVID, so the media tour was done completely remotely. I got 6 hours to play Endwalker, and let me tell you, that time flew by, and while I was playing, they were recording all the footage, so they have all the footage, they have all the screenshots that I took, and I haven't got that yet, because, I mean, they still need to, like, get it out to everybody, so I haven't even had a chance to, like, look carefully and closely at everything that I saw, but I still wanted to make this video. Basically, my first impressions, tell you what my experience was like as a player. So, yeah, first thing that comes to mind is Reaper, of course, like the new jobs, but Reaper really stole my heart, I gotta say. I mean, I think I was... When
it comes to melee DPS, Dragoon for life.
I did the media tour,
Floor tank.
I was waiting for Endwalker. Like, I was like, oh, it's about 2 months away. That's fine. I can wait a little. And now that I've played Reaper, this is so much worse. Like, it's so much painful for me to wait the 50 days or whatever it is from now. Well, when you're watching this, it will be less time. But yeah, it seemed at first glance to be very complicated, but you get a little play of it and it's very intuitive. It's very straightforward. It seemed like not hard really from, at least on a dummy, and at least from my like initial thoughts on how it's meant to be played. But basically, like, you fill up a red bar and the red bar lets you cast a spell that gives you a buff. And you use the spell to cast another spell, and you use those other spells to summon or like become the demon form, which looks amazing, by the way. It's really cool how like it still looks like you, it still looks like your character, but you really have just been transformed a bit. And by the way, if you happen to be playing a Keeper of the Moon Mikote, then you can see her fangs. That's the only character that I'm aware of, besides Hrothgar, I guess now, that has the fangs, and it looks really cool on Keeper of the Moon Mikote. Though I have to say, I think that the Vieira looked pretty good too, but I mean, Vieira always looks good, which we'll talk about in a minute. I wanted to like try to keep this somewhat organized.
Does the Vieira get to keep the, you guys think the Vieira gets to keep that robe hoodie? I don't think so, Zepla. I actually don't know.
I still have a video, not be all over the place, but I loved Reaper. I could not stop playing it, which was kind of a problem because we only had 6 hours to play. And I just did not want to stop playing Reaper at all. I did a dungeon as Reaper, and it's very flashy. It is, like I said, it doesn't have a lot of positionals. That was the #1 thing I was real worried about with Reaper. I thought it was going to be very positional heavy. Nope. There are like 2 positionals, and they're not buttons that you're pressing all the time. So if you are a person that doesn't like to constantly do positionals, but doesn't mind a little bit of it, it's very good. And that fits the bill for me. That is exactly what I had hoped for Reaper.
I think weren't they toning down on, I could be just like wrong, but I seem to remember they were also toning down positionals a little bit on some of the other classes to kind of make it easier for you to just move, because I think they're really going to ramp up like movement in this expansion, which probably means that Black Mage is going to have a bad time. Black Mage is about to have a real bad time, I think.
And I think it has the least positionals out of any melee. I absolutely loved it. I think everybody will like it. I don't think anyone will have a terrible time. Anyway, I also played Sage, of course. And Sage, I mean, I probably...
Ooh! Just looking at that initial reaction, like, Sage! Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, you could see it in her face. She's like, Sage!
I'm not gonna be maining it, but I'm not a healer player. And when I play healers, I tend to prefer the regen healers. I like healers with lots of panic buttons. I like Wide Mage, and I like Astrologian, which I'll talk about a little bit.
Yeah, so you're a glare bot.
Sage,
I get it.
At
I
first
get
glance,
it's fine.
Seemed rather complicated to me. It seemed rather complex, but I think that there are going to be people that really, really enjoy that complexity and are going to be really.
Because I mean, when you think about it, one of the things that I hear a lot of healers ask for is kind of like, give us more stuff to do, because you know, when you're a really good healer, healing is not even most of the things that you're doing. You're just like spending most of your time DPSing, and then you use OGCDs to heal. That's my understanding anyways. And you know, you guys know that I've had that brush up with the healer community. They don't like me very much in there. They're not big fans of my work, which is fine. But you know, it is one of those things that I kind of feel like I get a lot of healers that just want more stuff to do. And almost feels like Sage is the answer to that. It's because like most of the other healing classes, from what I can tell, there's obviously some changes, but it's not going to be something that's going to be like, yeah, here's a bunch of more tools so that you can DPS more often. It feels like that is the Sage. The Sage is like, here's all of these different tools for you to add to your DPS stuff and, you know, have a good time DPSing whilst also healing. So I'm going to assume that the Sage is going to be the more complex healer, but, you know, this is just assumptions at this point because I'm still getting caught up with all of the Endwalker Media Tour stuff.
Happy about that because it is unique in the sense that you pick someone as your dance partner. I say dance partner, but Cardia, I think, is the buff. You put on somebody, and then all the damage you do will heal them, just like Disc Priest and WoW. And that's a really cool mechanic. But I feel like it does add a layer of complexity that you need to be aware of. And there were just so many different buttons. It was a little overwhelming. I think maybe it's just, first of all, they gave us level 90 characters. And so that can be a lot to process. And I'm not super experienced with...
And that's why you don't boost. Because when they just give you like a character at max level with all of these abilities, you're going to be looking at it. And then you're going to be starting to look for imaginary eels on the screen.
With Scholar, for example, another barrier healer. I mean, I have the basic idea of the skills, but maybe I just needed more time with it. I need more practice. I did do a little bit of the dungeon on Sage, and I did not have any problem healing it. But then again, the dungeon seemed to be a little undertuned. I guess I'll talk about the dungeon in a second as well. Overall, Sage looks extremely cool. The spell effects are awesome. The sound effects are incredible. They're very like space age sci-fi sound effects, and I think that people are gonna really love it.
I like the pew
pews. Like more complexity in their jobs, but I don't know if it's for me. That's all. I don't think. But I'm not a healer main, so I'm probably gonna not place. I will level it, but I'm not gonna main it at all. Like there's no way I'm gonna main it. I had a lot more fun on Reaper, personally. Now, as for the other jobs that I looked over, like I said, I'm not trying to do a list of changes here. This is just my first impressions and stuff that really stuck out to me, stuff I enjoyed the most or didn't enjoy the most.
Tell me about that Confederate combo.
Loved a Summoner. I loved it.
Of course you did.
However, I do kind of feel like maybe I'm missing something. Okay, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm wrong. But I kind of feel like there are going to be long-time Summoner players who will not be happy with the changes.
Oh, 100%. 100%, because it's basically a whole new class. And whenever that happens, even if, which seems to be the case, even if the new class is objectively better by all standards, there's still going to be people that liked the old playstyle. And I understand. And I do believe that that is going to be a problem within the Summoner community because like summoner's change is so drastic. Now, for someone like me, if I was to play summoner, the new one looks way more appealing. But there are some people that like dot classes. And summoner was the dot class. And now it's gone. It's just like I think they removed all the dots from the summoner, actually. It's just like, no more dots. Less dots, no dots. And everything is about the summons. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be upset. But see, that's one of the good things about 14. You can just play another class. You don't have to start fresh. Just play another class. You're fine. Although, yeah, okay, that's maybe unfair. Okay, because like if they went into Paladin and go like, hey, you're not a tank anymore, I'd be like, wait, what? Now you're a damage deal. I'm like, no, I don't want this. Or you're a healer. I'm like, no, I didn't know. Like, yeah, if they changed a lot of things on a Paladin, maybe I wouldn't like it as much as well. So, I'm sympathetic, but what I'm saying is at least there's just the chance for you to go and try out a different class. But I know that that's not going to appease anyone, but I think the change for the summoner was for the better because, when you think of summoner, the last thing that comes to mind is like heavy dot class. I'm thinking about a class that, minion masters, summons things. And I think that this is way more adequate to that.
It seems summoner is quite easy to understand now. It seems very straightforward. Like,
that's another one of the things that I noticed.
Level difficulty. Unless I'm, like I said,
I don't know how hard the dancer
like I'm not an expert,
is,
but I felt like I had a pretty decent idea.
But I've heard
what
it's
all
pretty
the buttons
easy.
did and how they would fit in. Maybe the difficulty will come with the theory crafting and the optimization. I mean, that always is going to be a factor. Optimizing any job in Final Fantasy 14 is going to add a lot of difficulty and complexity. But I just know that Summoner historically was one of the more complicated jobs. And I feel like in the past, it did attract certain people that really enjoyed that complexity about Summoner. And I feel like those people are probably not gonna be too stoked with just how easy it now appears to be, at least at first glance. However, all of that said, it is super fun to play, and it is like, it really does feel like Summoner.
At the end of the day, what do you actually want? Do you want complexity for the sake of complexity, or do you want something that feels fun? Because like, my biggest decision that I had to make was between Gunbreaker and Paladin. And the only factor that I had to consider was which one am I having the most fun with? No, I guess there were two factors. Which one am I having the most fun with, and which one do I think looks better? Because like, with the animations and whatnot. And it was extremely hard for me. Ultimately, the Paladin kind of wins out because of the shield aspect, right? Because, shields up, iron breakers, all of that stuff. But I still also really ended up enjoying the Paladin animations a lot as well. But there are still parts of me that are like, dude, but that Gunbreaker rotation, though, is just so much fun. The Gunbreaker rotation is so much fun. And the Paladin rotation can be fun too when you get used to it. But yeah, there's a lot of things there, right? But it was never about which one of these jobs is more mechanically complex. It was more, no, which one of these jobs is more fun. That's what I'm always thinking about. What is the fun? The fun aspect is like the key thing for me.
Like Final Fantasy Summoner, I feel like always should have felt. You were constantly cycling through these big ass summons that like feel substantial, and then they affect the type of spells that you can cast. You bring down Titan, and then you've got the mountain squish ability. And so I had a blast playing Summoner. And I think that most people will really, really enjoy Summoner. I think we're going to see a ton of new Summoner players now.
Good.
Summoner does seem to have some interesting flexibility now with rotation, where you can choose which primal you want to summon first. Like you can decide, do I want Titan first, Garuda first, Ifrit first, or like what order you want to do it in. And maybe some interest will come when you're looking at different encounters and trying to figure out what's the best primal to summon in this situation. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays in high-end content. I really can't stress enough, though, how different Summoner feels. Like, it absolutely feels like a completely new job, and it might be a little jarring. but I think it's good. I think it's very, very positive. I definitely would not want it to go back to the way it was before, but that's my personal preference. I kind of ran out of time a little bit with a lot of the job testing because I got hooked on Reaper hard, and I really
Somebody's gonna main Reaper and Endwalker.
I had to force myself to. I saw there was like an hour and a half left, and I was like, crap. I really need to stop. Like, I need to look at all the different job changes. So I did do that. Don't worry. Like, there will be the job change video coming, because I did get a chance to look at every single job and see the different changes that were made. But for the most part, the other jobs seem to get some quality of life changes. Nothing like really insane. Nothing like that's going to be really jarring.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've just seen the Paladin video from Mr. Happy. That was so good.
Really, really different. Just stuff that's going to make the character feel better to play. Like my
main it's going to feel better, all right.
Dancer, and the changes to improvisation are amazing. The changes to, like, you get another button to press after you press devilment. I really like that. And I'm not going to get into all that right now because I feel like if I do, this will turn into like me listing all the changes, and I don't have the footage here. I don't have the resources that I need to properly do that. So I'm going to stop myself. I will just say that overall, I'm really happy with all the changes that I've seen. And when it comes to jobs, the love of my life right now is Reaper. And I cannot wait till the game comes out so I can get a chance to play it again. Everybody's going to be playing that job.
Yep.
For the dungeon that I got to play, the Tower of Zot, I did that with Truss, and the Truss definitely seems smarter.
Do they AoE?
Thancred, like, pulling extra mob. You know, like, he had a little pack of mobs, and then there's this straggler out here, and he used Provoke, and he brought the little straggler out down.
Nice.
To our group, so we could AoE
still not
all
seeing...
the mobs together. So
wait,
Thancred has
are they
another
AoEing?
wrinkle in his noodle, it seems. And so that was really good. The dungeon...
He's gotten a what? What kind of expression is that? A wrinkle in his noodle? I'm very confused. What is that supposed to mean? Like, you guys need to understand, I'm Portuguese. Some of these expressions go way over my head. A wrinkle in his noodle? That either sounds terrible or... Actually, that just sounds terrible no matter which context I can think about. Maybe I just have a really dirty mind, like, but yeah.
In itself, like, basically, if you had already seen the dungeon walkthrough video that they posted a while back, then you've seen the whole dungeon. Like, there's nothing in there that's going to be... like super surprising or different. Like, we've pretty much seen all that's in there. However, it does look really, really cool. And I enjoyed the bosses. I thought the music though. Oh, the music.
The music is one of the reasons why I almost don't want to watch some of these videos, because I've already watched some of them and they show the new music and they showcase the new music, which they should, because, you know, this is a personal decision of me watching these videos, but I was like, no, I can't. I was trying to tune my brain out of the music so that I get to experience it when I actually jump in game. Call me crazy. I don't give a fuck.
So the boss music is a super, super, super cool.
Yeah. Oh! See, I knew it. It is really good. Goddamn, Soken's a genius.
But I've been playing a lot of Hades lately, and the boss music reminded me of the boss music from Hades a little bit. That's kind of already been a theme. Like, we tend to have like the rock music for battle music, or at least we did in Shadowbringers for the bosses. And so I love that. The dungeon music itself was awesome. All the music that I heard was, of course, top tier. But at this point, we don't even expect anything less from this game. But I really
the surprising thing would be if the music was bad.
Trial
now
did
that'd
say
be
something
surprising.
spoilery in the beginning of it.
Uh-oh, don't tell me about it.
I will blur that out. Don't don't
Thank
worry.
you.
So if you see my footage from the dungeon, I will blur out her spoilers.
Thank you.
As for the zones that I got to explore, first I started out in Old Charlian, and I I did my best to explore every nook and cranny of Old Charlotte. Like, I probably spent too much time doing that, and I was trying to get into places that I wasn't supposed to be. But they did a very, very thorough job of not only making sure I can't get into anything I'm not supposed to be in, but also silencing every NPC. Like, the little conversations that NPCs are having, it was just ... I would try to click on NPCs and like it just wouldn't respond, or they would just say hello only. So they were pretty thorough, making sure that I couldn't get any story spoilers at all. But overall, the city is huge. It is just so giant. Like, I don't think we've ever had a city the size of Old Charlotte. Like, it is absolutely.
Well, I was going to say it concerns me a little bit in terms of navigation, but there's the Ethernet, of course. Because you can't mount in cities, for those of you that are new.
Ridiculously giant. I couldn't see where the market board was, so that's a question mark for me. And there was a part that I wonder if someday they might make into player housing, but we should probably not even worry about that right now. So I saw Old Charlotte. It was, the other thing, first of all, about Old Charlotte, you cannot mount there. Which
of course not.
Because I was hoping that there would at least be some area there where we could mount by the Aetheryte so we could show off our mounts. But no, I cannot do that.
That would be a cool thing for them to do, to like just have a little area inside cities where you could just like showcase mounts. I think that'd be cool because, like, for instance, when we got when I got the regalia and everybody, you know, I was hanging out with the community and stuff, and I was like, oh, guys, let's mount. We have to go like outside town and do it outside. But I think it'd be cool to have one area like that in any city just to hang out with people and whatnot.
And the music, I was worried that, like Idleshire being like another Charlian settlement, it would have like similar music to Idleshire. That is bagpipes, perhaps. And don't get me wrong, bagpipes are fine. I don't have any problem.
What you got against? What you got against bagpipes, lass? You don't like a good set of bagpipes, eh?
Bagpipes, okay. But it's just like, after I've heard the bagpipes music so many times, like, it just really started to grate on me. Okay, I was worried that the case would be for Charlian, but no, the song for day and night in Charlian is very chill. I did visit Thavnair. Thavnair is another pretty giant zone. Thavnair is where the dungeon is. And we fought the three sisters that are the reference to FF4, three sisters in there. And I already talked about the dungeon, though. Thavnair itself, very cool nighttime music. I really like the nighttime music. Very cool sunset ambience, because that's something that I hadn't seen before. I liked the river that's kind of muddy. I liked, I tried to get over, there's like a giant bridge, and I think it takes you to Razatan. I think it takes you to the town, but they don't let you go. They didn't let us go to the town, like that was closed off still. So I tried, but I was unable to get into Razatan. Like I said, I kept trying to get into places I wasn't supposed to be. And Garlemald I did explore. Garlemald, so I'm sort of mixed feelings on it, because I feel like maybe just them having to remove all the story stuff and all the story references from Garlemald made it feel really, really empty. But it seemed small and very, very empty. Like, aesthetically, it's incredible. It is super, super creepy and eerie. It feels like post-World War II, like bombed out city. It is, there's only machines left, basically. And the vibe in there is very unique. I don't think there's anything else like it. Like, I remember noticing that there were
sounds good.
Roads, actual roads. Like, I don't think we've seen roads before in Hollywood 14, like with the markings on the roads that are destroyed pretty much. So it just felt a little small. And there is this giant menacing tower in the middle, and I just wondered if, like, is the tower going to be connected with Garlemald at some point? What are we going to do with this zone? Like, just looking at the zone itself, there wasn't much to do or see. But there was a couple of fates, though. The first thing that I did, actually, whenever I got into the media tour, was record all of the bunny boy emotes. And so that video will be coming out around the same time as this one, I suppose. This one might be the first one that I post, and then you'll see all the others. But that was my first order of business, to see all the emotes, and overall, obviously, they're perfect. I mean, they're absolutely flawless and perfect. So, I mean, in case you're wondering, bunny boys are perfect. More news at 11. There are limited hats still. It seemed like, at least based on all of the job gear, the level 90 job gear, the hats options was limited in the exact same way that it is currently limited. Yes, you can wear a Reaper hood hat type thing, like that worked, but most other helmets and hats did not work. Circlets, of course, worked, and eye patches and things like that did work, goggles, but kind of the same old song and dance if you already play Viera and you understand what those limitations are like. I did check to see if at the character creator you could have different hairstyles available for Viera, and that did not seem to be the case, at least as of the media tour, but however, who knows, anything can change later. Because we do know that new hairstyles will be made available for Viera based on what we saw from the ninja art, or for the ninja job gear that they showed us. There's the Viera with a different hairstyle. So I think that's indication that, I think they did actually confirm that, yeah, new hairstyles are coming, just maybe not yet at the character creator screen. So, I mean, maybe you have to learn them. Maybe you have to unlock, I don't know. Even though there was kind of not that much to do, it was crazy how fast the 6 hours flew by.
Yeah, like, that's usually how it goes.
It was like practice on a training dummy with jobs, go to one dungeon and like run around 3 zones. So, but I mean, I still felt like I ran out of time. And there was still stuff that there was one thing I didn't get to do. There was a hunt a hunt boss that everyone could go do, but I was just so busy with all the job stuff, trying to look at all the different changes for the jobs. At the very, very end of the session, they're like, "Hey, Zepla, it's time to go. It's time to log off." And I'm like, they're like, "Can you please just log out?
Just let go.
Just stop.
She's like now. Grabbing it. She's grabbing the scythe."
Do another email. Do like another. Like,
she's like, maybe if I don't, if I don't say anything.
Like right up to the very, very end of the session, and I tried to squeeze all the good that I could get out of it, and so I can't wait to play. It seems, to have all the hallmarks that we might normally expect from a high quality Final Fantasy XIV expansion. Like there's nothing that I'm really worried about at all, except maybe lots of people playing Sage that do not know how to play it and are gonna.
That's gonna be fine, because my paladin has so much healing abilities. I'm not gonna need them to heal me anyway. I'll do it myself. Don't even worry about it. Oh God, the healers are definitely gonna hate me now.
Gonna struggle. We're gonna struggle to heal the rest of us. But maybe Sage is actually not that hard at all, and I just need to spend some more time on it. That's completely possible and likely. So that's all for my first thoughts for the media tour. I just obviously really wanted to give you my most freshest initial feelings on it, and I hope that you will stay tuned to the channel for all of the other videos that I will be working on very hard over the next couple of weeks, trying to compile all of the information, all the notes that I made, and all that to make some helpful and informative videos about the new jobs and all the other new stuff from Endwalker. Okay, I've rambled on long enough. I thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please consider supporting the channel on Patreon or on Twitch. You can also support the channel for free just by clicking the subscribe button or by sharing this video with your fellow Warriors of Light. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
So like I said, the original video will be in a link in the description below this video. So if you guys are curious to watch it without me rambling on, make sure to check that out. Zepla does a lot of really cool content for 14. I don't think you guys need me to tell you that, but whatever. Just in case you've never watched her stuff. But yeah, I'm still pretty pumped. A lot of the stuff that she said was cool. Get to know a little bit more, because I do want to work on like a video compiling some of my thoughts on some of these videos that I'm watching here. So, yeah. Thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button. If you didn't enjoy it, hit the dislike button. Subscribe if you usually enjoy the content. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe. Shields up, and peace out.